Tags are super trendy and so easy to do. So today I'm going to share with you not one, but 6 different options to creating trendy tags that will look good with just about anything. Hi, I'm Chris Haughey. Thank you for joining me today. Lindsay is with me to answer all the questions and monitor and keep me kind of on track. It's been a while since I've done a live, so we've got to kind of get back in the groove today. I did quite a few projects lately that have tags. So, and we've received feedback about creating these tags, and some people have difficulty with the little tiny lettering. So I just thought, Lindsay brought it to my attention that maybe we need to address that and throw out some different options as far as creating a tag that looks fantastic. I think tags are kind of like earrings. They just set the outfit off. So it's a fun way to add that different element of interest and kind of elevates it a little bit. So we normally just kind of wait until everybody gets a chance to kind of jump on. I don't think we announced this ahead of time, so
we told them that if they were in our lives last week, we told them that you would be here on Tuesday.
Okay.
We just didn't tell them what time.
I don't know that we knew what time.
That's okay. They can watch the replay.
Yes, I'll be here from now and forever on the replay. So thank you for joining us.
If you want to go ahead and get started, we can put the camera, and then I'll just stop as people come in.
Lindsay's going to kind of keep me on track and keep things flowing here. So let's go ahead and get started. I wanted to just basically focus not on how to decorate the tags, but just create the tags and the lettering and the additional decorations you guys are good at. I'll throw a few options out there, but such a fun way to just add that extra pop on these projects. And these are some of the ones that I've created, and layering is a big thing. But if you look at these and take the tags off of these 2 little guys, here's another one. The tag just adds something that's fun. So I've got a list of different things we want to get covered here. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, this little guy, the tag was stamped. And if you are stamping, kind of a major important point is to have archival ink. If you don't have archival ink, it technically is not permanent. Is that correct, Lindsay?
It's permanent. If you use archival, it's permanent and waterproof. So
okay, but the other inks are
right. You want to use the archival. You don't want to use like distress or anything like that.
I have a couple stamp sets, and I just use the bejeebies out of them because they're just, if you get a good letter stamp set, you can use it for so many different things and over and over and over. It's super easy. These are ones that I got from Stampendas. They're no longer available, I don't believe.
No, you could probably, if you wanted to, look on eBay. You could probably find some on eBay, but there are plenty of stamp companies out there that do stamp.
I've been looking at those click together stamps. Lindsay's not a fan of the individual letters that kind of click together.
Nope.
So she's telling me no. So I listen to her expertise. She does a lot of card making, so she does know what she's talking about. So I wanted to just show you how easy it is to add lettering to like a little teeny tiny tag. And sometimes that can be a challenge. Put something on there. What I really like about the trend that's going on right now is the non-perfection element. So it just gives you a little more freedom to be a little more relaxed and to add that detail on there and not stress out about being perfect. Now, these little tiny stamps are exactly that, little teeny tiny stamp. So I have a pair of tweezers that I use. What should we do, Lindsay? Noel?
Sure.
MN. Okay.
It's hard to read it backwards.
It is hard to read it backwards. What I like to do is just kind of place it. I have to look. so that it's kind of even with the bottom of the acrylic stamp. I know a lot of people put it in the middle. I have trouble with straight lines. So if I kind of put it along the bottom here, it makes it a little bit easier. And then I have to make sure I go in the right direction.
And if you do not have any stamp blocks, they do make them with grids on them that would help in this case. So if you're new to this and you want to try it, look for ones with like grids already printed on the block, and then that way it's easier to line up as well.
I didn't think about that, Lynn. That's a good idea. Noel. Evidently, I don't use the L a lot.
It doesn't look like you use it at all.
Okay, and just press it on there. I love the stamps, and if you've not used stamping before, don't let it intimidate you. I have used paint with my stamps. It can get a little bit, what's the word, messy, challenging. You have to be particularly careful about cleaning it, making sure that you don't leave any paint residue on the stamps, because cleaning them and getting the paint off can be a challenge as well. Okay, so I'm going to take my stamp pad and ink the letters instead of taking the letters and inking it on the stamp pad. And I just press down.
Spoken like a card maker.
I know, I learned from these guys.
The reason she's doing this is you can see what you're doing, and then that way you know that you're not getting like too much ink in the voids, and that applies to paint too. If you use paint with the stamps, you want to apply the paint to the stamp and not the stamp to the paint.
Well, and one thing I found out too, when I press down with the stamp pad, it's more even than if I hold it in my hand and try to do it the other way. And I just keep that upside down, and this is my favorite part because everything is transparent. I can see placement. We always say press 1, 2, 3 and lift up. Okay, it's not perfect. I'm okay with that because I can go in and kind of dress it up, put a little bit of a squiggle around the edge. If I want to put some dots on it, this is where you take it to the next level. To clean these, this is what I do. I just take a paper towel. If I had a baby wipe, I would probably use that. Ink is not a thick-bodied product, so it's not going to build up, but you do want to try to keep it clean. And make sure when you're finished, you put them back in their little spot, because it will drive you crazy next time if you try to find all these little letters and they are in a pile. And I believe, I'm not sure, but I believe most alphabet stamp sets, and correct me if I'm wrong, come with some kind of a holder, or so you can put them back in place. Is that correct?
They should. Yeah, most of them.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I know where they're at next time, and they are tiny.
And again, you can, like we said before, if you're just joining us, these stamps are discontinued from Stampendous, but there are plenty of stamp companies out there. Just go to like your local craft store, or sometimes you can even find them in like Dollar Tree, dare I say. But and that's where you can find them. Any of them will work. I recommend the clear ones just because it's a little easier to work with them than a wood block, because you can see.
Oh yeah.
Jen says hi from the Miami airport.
Oh. Okay, Jen is on her way to Jamaica. So Lindsay is my dad. My dad would say busier than a one-arm paper hanger. So and then we did this today. So that's just on top of her list of to-dos. Stamping is a great way to add. So if you do have stamps, take a look at it. This little tag on the reindeer, Rudolph the Red-Nosed breadboard. And I added a little bit of grunge, a little bit of snow, just enough. And again, this is not a focal point. It's not perfect. So it's just a little embellishment that I think it dresses it up and looks kind of adorable. On the acorn I did, I found an oak stamp, and I stamped that, and then I just went down the sides and across the bottom with lettering. If you don't have, use a stencil, put a shape on, paint a shape on there, add a little bit of lettering. It's just fun. Be creative. Okay, that's with the stamping. And I just feel like it's very relaxing. And again, if you have trouble with these use tweezers, use whatever you need to make it easy. I know trying to pick up those little letters can be frustrating, so we'll just go with that. Okay, so I did this guy, my Mary Santa. And okay, this was my thought. I was going to hang from the Y, I was going to hang a tag that said "and bright." And I thought, oh, that'd be cute. I'll just tie that on there. And in my mind, it looked fantastic. So I did a tag, and I didn't like the way it looked. It just didn't work. So, but let me go into the process of creating this particular tag, because this was interesting. This was one of the times where I was feeling just a little bit, I don't want to paint lettering. I don't want to stamp it, kind of blah, 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 whine, whine, whine. So I decided to try something, and I encourage you to step out of your comfort, try different things, because you will be surprised what you will find out. So I decided I would just print some lettering on a piece of copy paper, printer paper, not a big deal. And I wanted to decoupage it on. So I just I like the matte decoupage. I don't want the shine. Just took the matte decoupage, and I took my tag and I decoupaged it on there. And I thought, let me see how that's going to work out. And instead of cutting around the lettering and trying to blend in those edges, I will just take my sandpaper. This is really fine sandpaper, so it's going to take just, well, it's pretty good.
What, Jen's sanding block?
Yeah, Jen loves her sanding block. Oh my goodness, yeah, this is quite a bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
And just sand down those edges instead of trying to trim it off. You'll never get it right. And clean those edges up. I should have done a straight edge tag. It would have been a little easier to get all this off of there. But you'll get perfect edges. It's going to take a little bit more to do those rounded edges, but oh my goodness. Now, after I get this sanded off, this is copy paper, printer paper. It's a little bit on the, not quite opaque after you decoupage it on. So I did base coat this white underneath and then decoupage this on because I wanted it a little bit brighter. Because this is just plain old paper, if I try to paint over it and add, paper is very absorbent. It's really hard just to float or to flow paint over it. The Ultra Matte Varnish is my solution for everything. This, when it dries, is the same sheen as regular acrylic paint. So I can dry brush over it. I can float over it. There's no sheen. I can do all kinds of fun things. And I'm turning plain old paper and adding all my decorative touches to it. And it looks like I hand painted it, and it looks fantastic. This is a super simple way to add lettering very, very easily. Another option is the reverse transfer imaging. And I think everybody's familiar with that, where you print it in reverse, you put it on with the transfer medium, let it dry overnight, and then take water and remove the paper. It just leaves the ink. I'm not that patient anymore. I don't know what the deal is. I just had a birthday, so I can say I'm just getting old. But I like to move on. So I found out if I decoupage this on, my big concern was wrinkles. There were no wrinkles. I did, like I said, I did seal it and paint it white. That gives you a really good base for this to adhere to. It's a great way to add instant lettering. When it's dry, just give it a top coat of the ultra matte varnish, and then you can go in your shading, your splattering. But remember, if you're using the paper, it's going to be the white background base. So that's another option. And I thought this turned out really cool. Would you think this was printed paper, Lindsay?
Mm-mm.
It's
No.
just fun. And if you want to decorate it, okay, this is where I'm going to pull out the, you can go in with a little bit of holly leaves, add some berries, go around the edge with a little bit of line work, add a few dip dots, boom, it's already finished. Oh, I brought my brayer because after I decoupage, I'm doing this backwards, aren't I? Okay.
That's okay.
This helps to just make sure that the paper adheres flatly. If you don't have one of these, you know what? This works well too.
Credit card.
Credit card, okay.
Mhm.
So you don't have to have expensive tools, a lot of tools. If you look around, I think you're going to have most of whatever you need in your stash. And I know you all have a stash. Okay, so we did the stamping, we did the decoupage. Okay, lettering with a micron pen. That's what I did on here. And I know people are just a little bit nervous about lettering, but if you do the fun, whimsical lettering, you don't have to worry about it being perfect. The only thing about a micron pen is once you use it, it's kind of there. So you can't erase it and move it over or whatnot. So if I'm going to be using a micron pen, I just get a piece of paper and I'm going to kind of just trace around my little. If you are nervous about your lettering, just kind of put your tag on there. What word should we do, Lindsay? Make it easy.
Boo.
Boo. Okay. Okay, so now that I know kind of where the lettering's going to fit, I can take this and just use this as a guideline. This is a 0.05. We got to have that. Okay, I shouldn't have dotted that, but we'll. And I can go back and strengthen it if I wanted to on one side. I don't have my readers on, so I'm kind of winging this. Okay, so we want to add a little bit of, make it not look so messy. I'm just going to take black paint. I mean, that's it. I think that looks pretty good. If you wanted to, instead of the dip dots, you can go back with, and just add a serif. If you're not sure what a serif is, go on here. We'll just put a little dash. And it just adds the whimsical touch that way. So make a little template for yourself. What's nice about tags is it personalizes everything. So you could put a name on it. You could make a little ornament and put the year on it, a family name. There's so many different things that you can do with tags. All right, so we've done the stamping, the decoupage, talked about the image transfer, the micron pen, stenciling. I grabbed these tags. I did these a little while ago, but I thought they were so
I
cute.
think there's a YouTube video on those.
Oh, is there?
I'm pretty sure you did a YouTube video on those.
I mean, look how cute these are. Would these not be cute to stick in a little gift basket? To use I just use a stencil. If you look at stencils, there's so many stencils that have little parts to them. And this one is, what's it called? The word block stencil?
Yeah, it's one of the Valentine's ones.
We have them I think for pretty much every season. But, you know,
That one's called Cupid.
Just adorable. I just think these are so much fun. Just adding a little bit of accessories, the little beads, the decorative twine, the little tassels. Such a simple way to dress up a tag. And how cute of a gift is that? There are so many stencils that work for tags. And we have a bazillion stencils. We cut our own stencils, and we have a fantastic supply or selection. We have a supply and a half too. So I went out there to look at some of the different stencils that I thought may work on a tag. So I thought, well, any of these would work.
And it should be noted, this is the stencil that accompanies Ornamania 3.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this was the Ornamania 3 stencil. It went along with the book, but it is still available, even though the book is discontinued. It is available on our website, and I will link that in the chat.
Where's my little joy tag? Oh, here we go. I think even on some of these, well, oh, look at that. Winter Wishes would fit on the little tag. And I thought even on these bigger tags, 'tis the season, you don't have to use it the way it's laid out. You can take and we can do jingle all the up here and put way down here by itself. So, you know, take a look at, again, I know you all have a stash of stencils. You probably have some that you hadn't even thought about using for different tags. This is one of my favorite. This is a Halloween.
I mean, if you want.
Oh, baby, I guess it could be. But wouldn't these be cute on tags, on these little tags, and stick them on a little gift? How adorable would that be? These are bigger, and I thought maybe these would be too big. However, if I can find my tag, check this out. Look at that. Would you have thought that would have fit on there? Joy. These word ones are just fantastic. I think rejoice might, well, you could squeeze that on there. Super easy. The secret to stenciling, and I will tell you right now, that the only thing that keeps you from doing perfect stenciling is how the brush is loaded. I'm just going to take a little bit of lamp black, and I have my Spectacular stencil brush. I love these because the bristles are super soft, almost like a makeup blush brush. And so I can get the paint on there in almost a dry brush fashion. I'm gonna load my brush and get a fair amount of paint on there, work it in the bristles. Just gonna wipe the excess off, because if there is an excess of paint on the brush, when you go to stencil your lettering, you're gonna have excess there. It's gonna run underneath. Normally, I would say make sure you tape it down so it doesn't move around, but we'll just hold it for this. I love the translucent factor that allows you to make sure it's nice and straight. And I'm just going to, I start out very light-handed because I don't want to overdo it. And I'm just going to pounce that on. Now I'm using a swirl. I like a swirl. Everybody has their own way. To me, this gives almost a dry brush effect. Look at that. Now, all I have to do, if I want to have more of a non-stenciled look, just go back and fill in those bridges, these little areas here. I need my glasses, sorry.
And that should be noted that you don't have to fill in the bridges. It's a matter of preference, because I know Jen never fills in the bridges, but Chris always fills in the bridges. So it's just a matter of preference and like what you want your look to be, right? So
yes, sometimes I don't fill it in, but I think it's a vanity thing. I want everybody to think I hand painted it and it looks awesome because I'm a great painter. So it's a fun way to add. You can just go in. This is what Jen would do. Just, well, maybe she wouldn't do this. I don't know.
it's kind of like a scrapbooky thing.
Yeah, just add a little bit of design on there. Super cute. Doesn't take a lot of time. Kind of dresses it up. Okay. And how cute is that? I will tell you, when you do a tag, I did this tag and I stamped it, but when I went to put it on my ornament, it was going the wrong direction. And I know that sounds weird, but it said joy this way. So if I would have hung it over here, it would have been upside down. So I had to think about that. So if I put this tag over here, I guess this is a better example. Just be aware of which way you want to hang it, because if you just hang it down, it's fine either way. Okay, and the last challenge for stenciling or for creating tags is to just hand paint them. And Lindsay pulled this out this morning. She said, hey, you know, this is no different than a tag having these banners. So you need a really nice script liner. This is my 18-aught Epic script liner. I use it for everything. It's great for little tiny lines. Again, it does not have to be perfect. I added the little dashes around the outer edges. So if you're not into stamping, decoupaging, stenciling, or using a micron, actually I'm more comfortable with a brush. So for the most part, that's what I do use, is a brush to create the lettering. And then when you are finished, you can just add those little dashes, add the greenery, add all the little fun things around the outer edge, or not. Some of these have dashes, some do not. On the little balloon, I did go back, add some shading around the outer edges and the little bit of line work. It just kind of dresses it up, makes it maybe look a little more whimsical. And I think we kind of sped through all of these, but I wanted to give you just a quick overview of different options. If you have difficulty with those little tiny lettering, don't feel like that you're not able to create the tags, because there's always an option. There's always a better way, an easier way. Everyone does things differently. So do what's comfortable for you. Allow yourself to be a little bit, to have a little more freedom to pick and choose the avenue that you're more comfortable with and that gives you the best results. And don't limit yourself to just one. Try, play around, try some different techniques, because you might stumble on one that says, oh, wow, I didn't realize that was so easy. And oh, wow, it does look really good. So play around with it, have fun with it, be creative, throw a few little tags on those projects. I think you're going to be amazed, and everyone's going to be impressed at what a difference that little bit of embellishment will add to your projects.
And really quick, the nutcracker that Chris was showing is a brand new design. Actually, I think it was officially released today. It is part of Light Bright Buddy Ornaments. This kind of goes around along with Twinkle Magic. It's another group of them. So you've got a reindeer, a penguin, and the little nutcracker, or as Jen calls them, the creepy nutcracker. But that one is brand new today. And the link will be in the chat to see all the new items. And then also, really quick, I'm going to show the other new one. A Haunting We Will Go is the other new one that was released late last week. And this is probably the second to last Halloween design that Chris is going to release this year. There's one more, I think, coming. But there are bundles available for both of these ornament sets, and they are in the new section, which will be listed in the chat.
I love Halloween. I think I love the colors of fall and Halloween. And I love the whimsy. I love the fun. I like the playfulness of it. So for me, Halloween is, and those little rolling pins, they were so cute. So check them out. Make sure you take a peek at those. I think you're going to enjoy them too. And everything I do is just a little bit lighthearted, and I always say less stressful. A little bit of paint makes a big difference. So I try to hone down on difficult, stressful techniques and just keep it nice and simple, and just let the brushes and the paint create the project. So, anything else, Lindsay?
Chris should be back next week as well, because Jen will still be in Jamaica. So she should be back next Tuesday. I'm assuming at 10.
Probably.
10 Eastern. And if you miss it, these are available. They're available from 30 days from the airing date on our Facebook page, Covered Distributing. But they are available forever on YouTube. And our YouTube channel is at Covered Distributing, if you're not familiar, or Chris Boy Designs. But you can always find all of our lives, all of our videos on there.
Yeah, and check them out, because there's a lot of techniques on there, a lot of full length painting tutorials. So I try to share a lot of techniques to make your painting life a little bit more fun and a lot less stressful.
And it is a free channel. It does not cost anything to subscribe. A lot of people worry that, they get on there and they can't comment. It asks for an account, but it's a free account. You just need to give them your name and email, and then that way you get notified whether or not there's new videos, or if Chris happens to be live, or if Jen and I happen to be live, you'll get notifications on that. So
you won't miss out.
Again, I stress it is a free YouTube channel. It's not, there's no cost involved. So.
Okay.
All right.
I think that sounds good. So everybody play with tags, have some fun, and sure, if you do some cool things, be sure to share and tag my name on them, tag my name.
Yeah, you could send them to info@cdwood.com. I'll make sure Chris sees them, or
put it on Facebook and tag me on
Put them on our Covered Distributing Facebook, message them to us on Facebook. Whatever you do, we'll make sure Chris sees them.
Love to see what you do. Okay, well, until our next adventure together, just remember, a little bit of paint makes a big difference. Thanks again for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.